to add, I love my job. You know, I look forward to working. It gives me a thrill to do a drug bust or any operation. And maybe if I may go further, Commissioners, with your indulgence, when I looked at my diary, even I see on the 22nd of March this year, as recent as that, I had come back from a vacation in Margate and still on vacation leave. And one of my SANEB guys called me to assist to execute a search warrant where the occupant was only at home for certain periods, for an hour at a time. So every time my members went out, they were missing him. So at this point in time, it was a Sunday. I had just arrived from Margate, and he's a captain now, I won't mention his name, gave me a call to say he's trying for his SANEB members, and they're going to take a while to mobilize because none of them were in the area. And he asked me, and my name's always on every search warrant they do, because I'm very operational. So he asked me to come through and assist. So I went there, we intercepted the guy before he could leave, and the members joined maybe about 45 minutes later. So my point in relaying the story is that it's not out of the ordinary in our line of work to book on duty, whether you're on leave or it's a weekend or whichever. Thank you.
Civic duty.
Yes, yes, Commissioner.
Now,
you make the time you participated in this operation to be minimal. Based on what you say, it was actually a whole day.
Yes,
it was a whole day.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah, no, I just want to clear that because
Yes.
you sounded as if you were making it very minimal.
Sorry, Chair. And I still proceeded to be on vacation leave thereafter. You know,
I get
yes,
that.
okay,
I'm just
yes.
talking about this one
Yes.
day.
Are you correct, sir?
Can I ask one question on this topic? Because you were on leave, the decision you make to book yourself for the purposes of doing this, why did you not assign it to somebody in your team who was equally capable of assisting? Why did it have to be you?
Commissioner, it's not every day that you get an opportunity to participate in an operation where you're stopping or you're inspecting a container that's suspected to contain drugs. It's something that, for me, it was something that was worth going to work for, to obviously check this information out.
My difficulty with that is that if you look at your entry, at this point, all you knew that it was 27 kilograms,
Yes.
just one bag. So it was not something that was so significant that you needed to break away from your leave and be the one who attends. Even a junior officer or somebody in your team who is capable of attending a bust of 27 kilograms could have done that. We subsequently learned that it was more, but
Yes.
at the time when you took the decision, you were
Yes.
told that it's 27 kilograms.
Okay.
So I don't understand why it was so important for you to say, I'm on leave, but I will participate.
Okay. I've got a response, Commissioner. We only became aware of the number that Captain Duma, at that stage, Captain Duma, the number of kilos that he suspected was only relayed to us when we reached Isipingo and did a briefing prior to proceeding towards CHC. We proceeded to Isipingo area where my two members, together with myself, met with Captain Duma. It's only then that he told us it was 27 kilograms, Commissioner.
Yeah, but
Can
you keep changing that, to fit with the timeline. I had understood that when they called you, you were at home, they gave you this information, they came to pick you up. Now you are saying you only found out when you arrived at the depot that it was 27
Not the
kilograms.
depot, Commissioner. Prior to the depot, maybe it's here in my statement somewhere. I'll look at it. I'll tell you which paragraph.
Paragraph
Commissioner.
13.
Paragraph 13. We met with Captain Duma in the Isipingo area. He informed us that there were alleged to be 27 pieces of cocaine in a container number, and I go on to name the container.
Now you see, it's 27 pieces and 27 kilograms, because I'm reading from your investigation diary on page 800. 27 pieces, I thought it's something different.
No,
Because here you say, information received from CI was that a container containing plus minus 27 kilos.
Okay,
And then you, yeah.
yes. Where are we reading that from, Commissioner?
CJC
Yes.
268 at page 800. That is your investigation diary.
Okay, all right.
The first entry.
Yes, okay, Commissioner, this entry is made by Warrant Officer Mpangase, right? He lists information received from CI was that a container containing plus minus 27 kilos of the drug cocaine was kept at Isipingo. So I'm not sure what time he made it, but he made it on the 22nd of the 6th. And 22nd of the 6th is when I became aware it was 27 kilos or units, pieces or units, only when I proceeded with them to Isipingo and we did a deep or a briefing initially with Captain Duma. That's when the quantity that was alleged to be within the container was indicated to us.
So as far as you are concerned, when you decided to get away from your leave, it could even have been 5 kilograms because
Yes, it could have.
that's why I still don't understand your decision that I'm on leave, but I will participate. Other team members will not participate. I will do it.
If I can just pick it up from there, and that is my challenge. Because according to your investigation diary, that was the first entry you read. The first entry gives you the weight, it gives you container number.
Yes,
It's the second entry read thus.
yes,
Myself, Lieutenant Colonel Jacob, Warrant Officer Sibia from Durban DPCI, together with CI member proceeded to Isipingo Prospection Warehouse. You see that?
yes, I see.
So from this document, it appears the information was there before you even got to the harbor.
Yes, Commissioner. I think maybe Warrant Officer Pangas just got it mixed up because, Commissioner, with all due respect, if you look at every statement, every document in this inquiry, nothing reflects otherwise.
Okay, let me ask this question. At the time you received the call, before you were picked up from home at 7,
Yes,
please summarize the information you had received.
yes. Okay, at that stage when Captain Duma had called, he reminded me that, you remember I told you there's something coming on a container. It's at Isipingo, I think he did tell me, but he didn't give me quantity. And I told him I'm on vacation leave. He didn't have to insist that much. I was wanting to go, honestly. So when he told me there's this information that we should meet, he's spoken to Mpangase, and that we should meet at Isipingo. Then I told him, okay, I'll talk to Mpangase. No, I'll ask him I need to book on duty, but I will come through. So it was only when we proceeded to Isipingo, even in the vehicle, Pangase never knew the amount, according to me, because we didn't discuss any of that, even Colonel Spear. None of us knew the quantity until, or me personally, I'm talking for myself, none of that was discussed. It was only when Captain Duma met us in Prospecton, prior to going to CHC depot, we met at some garage, that he briefed us on the container number together with the alleged quantity of narcotics within that container.
So technically, when you decided to book yourself on duty, you can't say it was because it was at the prospect of a large drug seizure, because you had absolutely no idea as to size.
No, I didn't have any idea.
You just booked yourself on because it was a drug bust, a potential drug bust.
Because, yes, and more especially a container was involved, Commissioner.
And what's the relevance of a container?
You
being
don't get
involved?
a container inspection or information pertaining to a container every day. It's something that rarely happens. I know between 2020 and 2022, we had a lot of those, but prior to that and even subsequent after that, these are very few and far between. It's not every day that you get one of these busts.
I don't understand, because at paragraph 14, you are the one who introduced the notion of rip-on, rip-off load. And that view you formed immediately upon seeing the container, and then overleaf you then describe this modus operandi. And I read all you have set out there.
Yes.
as deriving from your experience that with these containers, you know the rip-on, rip-off modus operandi. So now you're saying you were excited because it's a container,
Yeah.
but at 14, 15, it sounds like you have had experience in rip-on, rip-off operations involving containers. So unless I'm misunderstanding it.
Yes, once again, Commissioner, I've been to a few, but I'm saying it's not every day like catching a street dealer or somebody, a drug dealer that we've been targeting. This is something that's coming from another country. It's a commodity that's originated from there. There's a little more, it's more satisfying when you seize or are involved in an operation of this nature.
So can I please ask a slightly different question? I understood you to say earlier that your commander was, I think, Colonel Lomo.
Lomo, yes.
So why do you speak to Nuswa instead of your immediate commander that you are booking onto duty?
Okay. Commissioner, I'm going to try and say this with no disrespect to the Colonel Glomo. Colonel Glomo had come back on a contract to work within the SAPS. It's those members that went off at 60, and then there was an opportunity to come back on a contract. And the Colonel was not very much au fait with operational matters or anything of that nature. It's by virtue of her rank and seniority that she was acting unit commander. And at that stage, they were rotating maybe on a 2-week basis. I can't recall, but there was not somebody placed there permanently or for a longer duration that now you could engage with and keep them posted on your developments. So it was wrong. I should have contacted her, but she was not one of those colonels that was hands-on with operations or anything of that nature. It was understood that anything of operational nature would be discussed with our brigadier, or he would be the one to give you guidance or whatever you needed. Thank you.
Except here, according to you, you didn't speak to Colonel Nuswa. You sent Mbangase, Warrant Officer Mbangase, to do that. So you're not discussing anything operational with Nuswa.
Yes.
You actually just sent somebody to say, just brief him or whatever, that I'm coming on to duty. So that can't be, what you've just said now can't explain why you skip your immediate commander. And remember that in your earlier evidence, you said you must inform your immediate commander. So Nuswa is not your immediate commander. Still the question is, why do you not comply with the requirement that if you are signing on back to duty in these circumstances, you speak to your commander, you inform your commander? That's, if you would answer that first, actually.
Yes. Commissioner, I've got no valid reason for not doing so. It was an error on my part.
Okay. And even with Nuswa, you don't speak to him. You get a warrant officer, someone much junior to you, that you get him to be the one that tells that senior person, Nuswa, that you are coming back on duty instead of you reporting yourself to be back on duty. Can you just explain, because it is an anomaly?
Yes.
Why do you behave that way?
Commissioner, initially when Pangase told me he's going to brief the brigadier, I assumed he's going personally to him to brief him. And I know in the mornings is the time that our brigadier normally is engaged with whatever duties he does. But that being said, I thought Pangase was going to have a one-on-one and inform him what's happening. But even though it's not stated in my statement, the brigadier did remind me that I did call him, even prior to when I first allude to in my statement, where I say that was at Isipingo parking area that I called him. And
that's not my question. Yeah. My question is, when you send Mbangase to brief Nuswa that you are coming back on duty, why do you send Mbangase? You have his number. You have Nuswa's number, yes. I must assume.
Yes.
The requirement, as you explain it, is yes. You tell your commander, right? We've established you don't tell your commander. You speak to somebody else who is above. Yes. your commander. But the second question that I'm asking you now is, well, why do you not speak to Newswa yourself to report yourself back on duty? Because you're reporting back on duty, right? Why do you not do that?
I can't give you an answer, Commissioner, but if Pangase, he did give me feedback that the Brigadier said it's okay, but if,
Maybe he lied. My concern is not what Mpangase said to you.
Yeah.
My concern is to get a satisfactory explanation for this obvious irregularity. It's an obvious irregularity. You are on leave, one. So the context matters. You are on leave. You get a call to be told there are these drugs. You don't speak to your commander to say, I'm signing on to duty. You don't speak to your commander, you skip your commander. You speak to Newswa that eventually there are problems, his involvement with this eventually. But you don't speak to your commander. You send a warrant officer, someone junior to you, to speak to Newswa. You knew he was not going to talk to your commander. You send him to speak. When he says, I'll speak to the brigadier, you say, you knew he was going to speak to Newswa because your commander was on and off, and it was known that you speak to Newswa about matters operational. So we know you never were under any impression that Mpangase was going to speak to your commander. You knew he's going to speak to Newswa. And all I'm asking you is, why do you not call Newswa yourself? Now that you've decided the person to speak to is Newswa, not Lomo, why do you not call him yourself?
I've got no response to that, Commissioner. I should have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner.
On that,
Oh, yes, Chair.
thank you. On the reason that you give about your immediate commander, which is that she was not involved in operational matters, I will not accept that at face value. You are on leave, and all that you needed to do was to report that I'm coming back. I'm no longer going to be on leave just for this limited period. I see nothing operational in that. That's admin. I see you nodding your head, so you agree with me. That's pure admin.
Yes.
So basically, you have not responded to Commissioner Baloyi's question.
Yes, Chair. I should have. It was an error on my part. I should have.
So you accept that you did not do what you had to do, and you basically had no reason for not doing it. This thing about operational simply does not apply.
Yes. I concede.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. So now we know that you and Warrant Officer Mpangase are now aware of this potential operation, and you decide to attend to the scene, correct?
Yes, correct.
Would I be correct to say, technically, the DPCI operation has started, or not yet?
At which point, Commissioner?
Once you decide you are going to CHC depot, to follow up on the information given by Captain Duma of Crime Intelligence?
For me, I would say once I was fetched by my members, it would have commenced. For me, that's when my duty would have commenced.
No, not duty. I want to know, when does the operation, yeah, in your understanding?
Yes, in my understanding, the operation is actually at the scene where you're operationalizing this intelligence. So for me, the operation would have commenced upon our arrival at CHC depot.
May I suggest that it has to be before, because firstly, as to who turns up to follow up on the information is a decision that must be taken.
Yes.
And that decision must be based on a purpose.
Yes.
Right? And that is the start of the operation. It can't be when you all arrive and then you say the operation commences. That's not how you run operations. I would like to believe that even in this PCI, when you decide to move from your offices to a particular place in pursuit of something or intelligence received, you are already in an operation. Do you have a difficulty with that proposition?
No, I agree with you.
Okay. Now, accepting then that this is what happened here, You were the most senior.
Yes.
Am I correct at the time?
That's correct, Commissioner.
You are in charge of this, and I'll put it in inverts, if you are more comfortable, quote-unquote operation.
Yes.
Who decides the team to carry out this operation?
In this instance, it was myself.
It was you.
Commissioner, yes.
Now, so you decided to involve Warrant Officer Mpangazo. Do you say that decision was already made for you?
That decision was made already by Captain Duma.
Did you have any power to override it?
If I wanted to, yes, they would have been.
Okay. And then who's the next member of your team?
It was at that stage Warrant Officer Spear. KG
And that was
Spear.
your choice. He was your choice.
Yes, he was.
Was he also chosen by, and I say chosen in inverts, by Captain Duma, or was that your personal choice?
That was my choice, Commissioner.
And on what basis was that? Why did you decide on him that he's the best person suited for this operation?
Okay. If my memory serves me correctly, when Pangase called me, when I called Pangase and he had informed me that Duma had already spoken to him,
Yes.
at that stage, we knew we were going to operationalize this. And Pangase was at that stage going around the office checking who's around. So I'm not sure what he had said to me. I'm not sure, I can't really recall, but I asked him, check if KG is there, KG Sibia. Just for the purpose of, manpower, and we have our colleagues that somehow we tend to choose. Obviously, if there's 10 members and you only require 3, I'm just saying, you will choose those that you have worked with before, that you've got a good understanding with. So there wasn't that much thought behind it, but just put somebody that you normally work with and you've got a good understanding with.
And also, it wasn't made on the basis that you appreciated this is a potential drug bust, that, you say it's Warrant Officer Sibia? What?
Yes.
Warrant Officer Sibia potentially brings some expertise in that regard. That is not the basis of your decision.
No.
You just thought of a name and you decided he'll join.
He's competent enough, although he was not a fundi in drug cases, he's a detective.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you know you're going to the depot, which is around the harbor area. Earlier, in response, I think, to a question posed by the chair, you made reference to joint operations and you spoke of the involvement of SARS.
Yes.
Did you at that time consider this to be potentially a joint operation or not?
No, not at all at that stage, Commissioner. No.
At that stage, you didn't?
No.
Okay. So if it wasn't a joint operation, then it was a pure DPCI operation?
Yes, and DPCI and crime intelligence.
And crime intelligence, yes, your source. Did it at any juncture become a joint operation in your understanding? And if so, under what circumstances?
Okay, I'm using the term loosely joint operation, but whilst on the scene, we requested assistance from border police. So I don't know whether technically we can define it. I don't think it's a joint operation because they were not briefed, they were not expecting to be of assistance to us. So I wouldn't call it a joint operation.
So it really was never a joint operation?
No, it was not.
I would like you to jump to your paragraph 18. And there is a statement you make at paragraph 18 that I want to make sure I don't misunderstand. You see, the paragraph that starts upon inspection of one of the bags, okay?
Yes.
The third sentence in that paragraph reads, there were other border police cargo operations team unit,
Yes.
inspection unit, uniform members at the depot that were inspecting other containers. You see that?
Yes, that's correct.
Were these people, I'm trying to understand why you make the statement here.
Yeah.
Were they part of your operation, or you are just mentioning police teams that were at the depot doing their own jobs, inspecting other containers? I'm not sure I understand that statement.
Okay, but I just wanted to describe how did the border police come about to assist or to convey exhibits, these drugs to the police station, and it was upon my request.
So they were part of your operation?
Eventually, they were part of it after me requesting assistance, more especially in terms of transporting exhibits from point A to point B.
Now, if we go to CJC 268, perhaps maybe I'm slow in understanding. At page 801 of that exhibit, perhaps let's start at 800, at point 4 at the bottom. So I start the point at the beginning. The container was properly closed and locked, the seal intact. The seal was broken and the container was opened in the presence of supervisor of the warehouse. I take it that is Ms. Pile.
Yes.
Customs official Mtutuko Kuzwayo. You see that?
Yes, I see that.
ORS members, Sergeant Mkize and Sergeant Gavin, and 27 black canvas bags were observed placed right at the end of the something commodity, just behind the container doors.
Cargo.
Cargo commodity. Thank you, Chair. Cargo/commodity. You see that?
Yes, I see that, Commissioner.
The people listed here, did they just happen to be around, or were they part of this particular operation? Because when I read the investigation diary, it sounds like they were part of your operation and officially there to witness the breaking of the seal. And here in your statement, you say that they were inspecting other containers. So I'm trying, are they here by chance? Are they here as part of an operation? Where do we land?
You know, Commissioners, if memory serves me correctly, they were not present when the actual container was placed, when the photos were taken of it, the lock being cut open. According to my memory of that day, they were not present for that. They were not present for that. It's only after us discovering this 27 bags that it piqued interest around the warehouse, and I think even they walked towards the area, and that's how it came about that I asked for assistance.
So Warrant Officer Mpangase is wholly wrong in what he has recorded in this investigation diary.
I stand to be corrected, but my memory tells me that the border police guys just came a short while after discovering the narcotics, the black canvas bags.
Now, you recall earlier we discussed the issue of monthly, quarterly inspection. And you referred me to the statements you had obtained during your investigation. And you said that those statements have got a date attached to them, and that will at least demonstrate to the commissioners that these entries were not effected post-fact, okay?
Yes.
Now, I looked at this, and in fact, when I look at the inquiry, firstly, you don't state in your statement that there was a customs official by the name of Mtutuko Kuzwayo. And when I look at the investigation diary, there is no statement by this customs official.
Okay. Just bear with me, Commissioner, please. It's in this one.
Can I help you? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for my original statement, Commissioner, that I did file in the inquiry. I'm not sure where it is in your bundle, but I know.
Give me a date, perhaps we'll be able to help you. Please try page 574,
Yes.
CJC 243.1. He said the first one.
CJ?
I want you to look at CJC 243.1 at 574.
Yes.
So that is, the first statement is unsigned that we find in the inquiry file. Is that the statement you are looking for?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It should be the unsigned statement. Okay, this is the document you were looking for, Colonel?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you can then deal with it.
Okay. Paragraph 5 of the said statement, Commissioner.
Yes.
Line 3. So I mentioned SAPS members mentioned above, as well as Ntutuko Kuzwayo from Customs.
Yes, continue.
Yeah, I see that I did write here. Sergeant Simkize and P. Governor from ORS, I did erroneously, I would think, Commissioner, and maybe if I had to elaborate on that. When I looked at the statements, preparing for the commission, I saw that the border police guys did not, in their statement, state that they saw the breaking of the seal. So to them, so I think when I put it here, I just wrote from my memory thinking they were, but when I did go through the inquiry again, I noted that none of those two members mentioned that they witnessed the breaking of the seal. So this is not corrected, Commissioner.
This is your first statement,
Yes, it was.
the very first
Yes.
and you say this statement, the very first you did, is not correct. So it would have been, when would you have made it? It's not dated.
Yes.
What day? It doesn't have a date, a month. When do you think you prepared this one?
I can't say, Commissioner.
Okay, I can tell you that your next statement, which is CJC 243.6,
Yes.
is dated the 9th of November, just to give you perspective.
Okay.
So when do you think this one would have come into being?
Definitely before that.
Before.
Yes.
And then if you go back to your investigation diary, why is it you, the investigating officer, never sought or obtained a statement from this customs official, Ntutuko Kuzwai?
Okay, let me look through the investigation. Bear with
Yeah,
me,
please.
Commissioner. I'm not sure whether it was taken. Tell me, does this, Commissioner, does this bundle have all of the statements that were deposed to in the inquiry?
I'm going by your investigation diary.
Or my investigation?
They are listed
Okay.
here.
Okay,
Yes.
let me look at
And
that.
this particular statement is not one of them.